Good morning, folks. November 1st or 2nd here. Water temp 48 degrees. Air temp was 27 this morning. Even now it's 32, 33. But water temp is what matters. I'm dressed with many layers, let's say that. If I tell you how many layers I wear, it's embarrassing. I'm always very cold. What to do? I don't know what to do with my feet. My body I can dress, but I feel like 3 pairs of socks is enough, and I'm still cold. I see some fish here, but I don't know what it is. Probably bluegill, maybe some shad. I actually drop an anchor behind me because the spot lock otherwise is gonna spook the fish right away. So sometimes it takes a lot of work to anchor on fish, and then they turn out to be not crappie. But I'm gonna start with the best rig in the world, Daiwa Presso, Daiwa Legalis, 1 gram float. And I'm gonna start with a trout magnet right now. I don't know if trout magnet is the best, but that's what I have tied on. My experience, trout magnet is not the best in the fall. Let's see. I don't know what's the reason for that. I mean, you'll catch if you find a school of big fish, of crappie, they're gonna compete and they're gonna eat the trout magnet, but this is something is biting right here in front of the boat. But I feel that trout magnet resembles a bug, mayfly or something like this, some kind of insect. And November is just not the insect season. You know what I mean? So you gotta find some active, competitive fish. And then they will eat the trout magnet, but I feel the fall with the cold water. Of course, I'm proven wrong right away. Let's see what this is, crappie or bluegill. My God, what a bluegill. Look here, what a bluegill. This is the best color trout magnet. If you have to buy only one color, buy this gold color, gold and black. Nothing beats it. It's just a safe choice. And then I believe the best jig head, if you're gonna fish trout magnet for bluegill, is the Bluegill Assassin. I have a video about this jig head. It's just extremely sharp after 1,000 fish and extremely durable. I'm not getting good bites. I'm gonna cast a few more times. And I'm gonna switch to something with a tail. Because I think when you're float fishing, it's not twitching a trout magnet. When you're float fishing, this one is running like a bluegill. So I think this school is a bluegill school. It's running good though, man. These bluegills. Look at this. Let me tell you, I don't mind catching these. As a matter of fact, if you're gonna fish for bluegill, I recommend trout magnet over a Cultiva worm or a Nico worm. Cultiva worm in particular is just easily destroyed by bluegill. Unfortunately, the tail has a connection in the middle to give it more articulation, and that connection is a little bit vulnerable when it comes to bluegill fishing. But I was saying the Cultiva worms, the best bait in the world overall. But bluegill will take it apart, man. It doesn't have the durability to sustain. Bluegill, they're like piranhas. They come and they don't always swallow. They grab the tail and they do these fast head shakes and they just try to tear it off. Yeah, I feel all the fish is gone and we gotta get out of here. Or maybe we should cast the cultivar worm a few times, but if these are bluegill, man. You just lose a few cultivar worms for nothing. Yeah, these are bluegill. There is no point casting nickel worms. Cultivar worms, the bluegill will eat the tail. Now nickel worms are more durable. They're not gonna eat the tail. But with nickel worms, bluegill, if they have any suspicion, they just grab the tail. They don't inhale the head. They grab only the tail. Oh, this might be crappie. This is very slow. Feels like a crappie. Maybe one crappie on the trout magnet. Yep. That's a decent crappie. I feel that's a decent crappie. What do you think? Bad angle, I know. Alright folks, I'm gonna make a couple more casts and go look for some other fish. These fish here are mostly bluegill. If I thought it was crappie, I would use my nickel worms. Well, this one has got, look at the run he made, like a salmon. Whoa. Sorry buddy. This bluegill has got the speed. So as you can see, trout magnet still works in the fall, even though it has no action, no tail, no nothing. If I know the school is just bluegill, I stay with the trout magnet so I don't lose expensive lures. I don't know why I'm still casting. There is 3 bluegills left there. What's the point? Even if I catch them, I'm like that sometimes. My brain is telling me to go, but I see a fish and I want to catch it. Here we go, and I did catch it. Oof, good fight these bluegills, man. It's hard to translate in a video. Man, this, I don't know how big this bluegill, but this is already the size that can fight good. Should I cast again or go find some crappie? There's gotta be some crappie somewhere. Man, where is the crappie? And I still see 3 bluegill left there. That was a bite, but I could not connect. No connection. No connection. Oh, connection. That was a connection with a little bluegill BGO. Prefer these were green sunfish instead of bluegill. I love bluegill, don't get me wrong. But they have a small mouth. That's the problem with bluegill. You know, I know it's a bad idea, but I'm gonna cast the Nico worm, even though that's not a good bait for bluegill. But just because they have seen the trout magnet too many times already. There is a point where they get tired of this lure, and now they're not gonna eat it even if they're hungry. So even though the Nico worm has a bigger tail and it's more difficult to catch bluegill with it, maybe they will have more confidence because they haven't seen it yet. Told you. What did I tell you? What? Oh my god. How do you snag a fish with the bumblebee hook? I mean, look at this hook. How do you snag? Folks, we gotta get out of here. Look what's biting. Did you see that fish? We have to get out of here. These are really tiny fish. Don't blame my equipment. I know if it's even a 4-inch bluegill, my hooks will catch it, but that was like a 2-incher. So stay tuned, we go find some other brush. Alright folks, brush number 3. I'm gonna start this brush with the Nico worm actually, even though I see the same kind of clouds of baby fish. Sometimes the signal is reflected by the small fish and you cannot see a larger fish. Let's try to catch a nicer crappie before we spook them. If there is one nice crappie there, maybe we can catch him. That was a baby bluegill bite. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, high frequency bite. Crappie has one bite. Clop. Sometimes you miss the big fish because the hook is too small. That's a big fish. It's very slow head shakes. That's not a bluegill. Slow head shake. Okay, not big fish, but bigger than what I've been catching these last. Not that big. I don't know if he's gonna make 10 inches. I'm not gonna net him because I don't care if I lose him, but yeah. I don't know if he'll go 10. Let's see. Look at this, man. Mouth touching. This fish is 10 and it's over 10 and a half. Small fish like this. Look. This is the 10. This is the 10 and a half. Sometimes I tell you guys this is 11-inch fish and you don't believe me. I don't do that, folks. I don't play that game. Bite. Feels like a crappie, very slow. Head shakes. Very slow head shakes. It is a crappie, exactly the same. Oh, that's a black crappie. This one might make 11 inches. Don't worry, I'm not gonna keep him. Don't worry, I'm not gonna keep him. And this looks like a bigger fish, but it's exactly the same. If I stretch him just right, I can make him 11, but he's not 11. He's over 10 and a half though. But he looks so much bigger. He is heavier than the white crappie, for sure. But so far I'm getting only crappie. That's good. Well, I'm getting bluegill bites too, but I couldn't connect with them because they've been nibbling on the tail. I don't know. This one is too fast. It's not slow head shakes. Can be small crappie. Everybody's flush full of money today. Not a fish. I don't know, either small crappie or bluegill. That's a 10-inch crappie. No, maybe 9 and a half. I know you don't believe me, but if I put it on the board, this is 9.5. Good brush, good brush. Only crappie. Another fish. See, Nico worm now. If I find a crappie, going for the Nico worm, the extra tail. See, they're talking about. No. Talking about me right now, folks. White crappie again. Yeah, that's I think the first 11-inch fish. Because he's a white crappie, he doesn't look big again. Look at this fish. Look at this, touching everything. This fish is 11.5 inches. I don't know what happened. I think a muskie came. There was a cloud of fish here. Everything is gone. That's a muskie. I don't think big walleye can do this, or big bass. I don't think 10-inch crappie cares for any walleye. Yeah, they're all gone. I feel the muskie is not even, the crappie is not even that terrified from the muskie. They're just annoyed and they're used to them showing up, and they just do what they do. They just scatter and wait it out. Like pimps and a police car, you know. Police car shows up and all the pimps on the corner scatter. The police car drives off and the pimps pop back up. I have nothing against pimps, by the way. Provide valuable service. Okay, that's a 10-inch white crappie. Interesting how white crappie and black crappie have a history of, you know, being year after year on the same brush, on the same spots. This brush here is a little further deep, a little closer to the middle of the lake, and you get more white crappie. You can catch a black crappie here too, but mostly white crappie. And the brush that are shallower, closer to the bank, black crappie. Bite? He just tilted it. And that's another crappie, folks. Oh, this Nico worm, if you have crappie, there's no point messing around. Another 10-incher. Put up some good numbers of crappie here. Look, I still have a micro swivel. You can find this micro swivel in my Amazon store. It's the smallest size, it's the small size. I always put my floating baits, even trout magnets. If I'm gonna fish the trout magnet on a float, put them on a little swivel. It's a clip technically, but I call it a swivel because that's what I use it for. I want the bait to swivel. That's finally a bluegill. It's not a good sign. But good fight, man. Good fight. Look at this bluegill. Look at this. That's why they call them panfish. Good cross section. Look at this bluegill. Tall. Even though that was a female. Still very tall. I don't know, I don't see a fish, but somehow I keep getting bites when I throw close to the brush. I think there is some fish behind the brush where you cannot see them. That's why if you know a good brush, always throw to check it out. It doesn't matter what you see on the live scope. Oh, that's a good crappie. Good crappie. I'm gonna net this fish. We already caught 11 incher, but this one is 11 black. And to me 11 black is more valuable than 11 white. Oh, that's a good fish, folks. Don't matter where you live, what state. Look at his mouth. That is a gorgeous fish. Let's measure him. Might keep this fish. That's a 12-inch fish. 12 and a quarter, most people will say, but I say 12-inch fish. I'm gonna keep this fish, folks. It's as big as I can keep without having remorse that I'm hurting trophy fish population. 13-inch fish I would not keep, but a couple of 12s, you know, 2 12-inch fish, believe it or not, are enough for dinner for me, my wife, and my 2 kids, because I don't eat a lot of fish. My kids don't eat a lot of fish. They'll taste it, but they don't eat a lot. It's my wife that will finish them. 2 12-inch crappie is enough. We don't fillet them. If you fillet, you waste so much meat. I mean, it's... We fry or bake the whole fish, and then we pluck the meat off the bones with the fingers. And it comes so easy in the crappie, you know, and there's no bones in the middle of the meat. It's just kind of the rib cage. So I don't understand what's the point of filleting crappie. You just lose a ton of meat. Too far from the brush, which I can get closer, but then I'm gonna spook them. Usually I can get there if there's no wind. Bluegill. I think I depleted the crappie population. That sounds really bad. Sounds like I'm a criminal. Whoa, look at this red tail bluegill. Have you seen a red tail bluegill? I have not. He ate the nickel worm deep. So far that hadn't happened. Oh, he was lucky. I'm gonna let him go. Beautiful bluegill. If I had a fish tank, might have kept him for my fish tank. Oh, he was here the whole time. Oof, good BG. Alright folks, one last cast. Oh, that was a good cast. We're gonna end this video here. But yeah, we started with a bluegill. First you brush. Work them with a trout magnet, which makes it easier to pluck off these little offenders, unless they're too small. You reach a point when it's like 2-inch, 2.5-inch bluegill, where you're not gonna catch them, even with a tiny trout magnet. Sometimes because I use such small hooks, sometimes I even cut off the first section from the trout magnet. So it's a really, really short bait, really easy to swallow. I don't have much gap sticking out of the bait, but it has no action. And when it's cold and looks like a stick, sure, it swivels a little bit when you have waves like this, and you're still gonna get crappie. But when I see crappie like on this brush, they seem to be, well, at least at first, I caught like 10 crappie. But now it's just bluegill. I'm trying to end the video here, but I'm getting upset. But it's time to go. it's time to go. The crappie either moved away or there was only 10 and I caught all of them. But it's time to move to another brush. But yeah, these are my strategies. Sometimes I even fish with 3 floats, 3 Daiwa Presso rods. Running fast. Good run, but that's a BG, man. I wanted to end with a crappie, but there is no crappie. It's a good BG. I have ended videos on a lot lighter note than this. This is a 6-inch bluegill. But yeah, thanks for watching this one, folks. I'll go find some other fish and rant about something else. Bye bye.